Welcome back to We Like That podcast.
Because we like that. I'm Joe.
And I'm Calvin,
Welcome back to We Like That podcast.
because we like that.
Skitty bop, beat up bop.
Bap, bap.
I actually have some stuff for Dat Happened.
Oh,
Ready?
skid it, bap, bap. That happened with Joe.
Oh, okay.
With the news you know. Let her
So,
give you mo.
what do you think about the Stephen A drama?
Of what? Oh, I guess he said LeBron tell him to keep his son name out of his mouth.
What did he say about the That Happened is that LeBron confronted Stephen A. Smith at a Lakers game where he was playing. And it went viral. All these lip readers are trying to figure out what was going on, what the confrontation was about. Allegedly, it was about whatever Stephen A said about his son, who's also a Laker. And he was like, keep my son out of this, basically. And then Stephen A. Smith went on his show to discuss the incident that happened. And he framed it like, while he understands that it was LeBron coming at him as like a father, he felt that it was disrespectful to him regarding what he said and also how it was taken out of context because of the line of work that he's in. Basically.
LeBron is saying, he's saying, I guess LeBron, the way Bryce is being introduced into the NBA or whatever, he's saying LeBron is putting too much pressure on Bryce and let this do whatever.
Stephen A. Smith is saying that?
Yeah. And LeBron is like, what the hell are you talking about?
I don't think that's all he said. I think he said something else.
But he probably says a couple other things too.
Mhm.
And pretty much LeBron is like saying, the only reason you care and you taking shots at him because he's my child.
Is he wrong?
No, he's
Okay.
not. Everybody talking about nepotism, favoritism, all this stuff.
Yeah.
The dude was picked 50. He was the last pick in the draft, the NBA draft. His son was the last pick in the NBA draft.
Mhm.
The Lakers picked him. People acting like he shouldn't have got picked or whatever. But now if you look at him, he's in the Gatorade League, whatever they call it, the G League, and he's killing in the G League now.
Wait, Brony is in G
Yeah,
League?
he's killing the G League right now.
I'm confused. I thought he was a Laker, like he was on the same roster as his dad.
Yeah, but he's on a two-way.
I don't know.
So
what that means.
what they do is, if you're not drafted in a lottery, even a lottery kid players sometimes go to the G League to get more playing time, to get acclimated. Then once they have a good G League, they get used to the game. They start dominating G League. Then they bring them up to the pros, because the speed, everything is different in the pros.
So how is he still a Laker if he went G League?
Because the Lakers organization has a G League they can put him in.
Okay, so like when we watch the G League over here, when we watch,
Yeah, those are kids. Those are players either signed to those G League or signed to NBA teams on two-way contracts.
but they're not. But they aren't called
Yeah, they can get called
Wizards.
up.
They're called the Go-Go's.
Yeah, but they're still they're part of the Wizards franchise.
Okay,
They're just a developmental league for their players, basically.
so they got 1 foot in, 1 foot in the
Yeah.
other place. Okay,
And some of them will play in the NBA or sit on the bench and then come back down to the Go-Go's and actually play
okay.
to get playing time.
I'm still confused over what Stephen A. Smith actually said about Bronny. Because I feel if he was coming at it the way you said, like he was just saying that there's a lot of attention due to his father, I don't feel like LeBron would have confronted him the way that he did.
They're taking shots at LeBron and Bronny, but they're taking shots at LeBron indirectly.
My other thing is Stephen A. Smith is not known for being a humbled professional. He's known for being outlandish. That's his whole thing. That's his gimmick. So my question is, what the hell did he say about Bronny?
What I'm saying,
And number two, why was he surprised that LeBron would have any kind of emotions around him talking about his kid?
because LeBron has been the quintessential good guy the whole time he's been in the league.
But all he did was talk to him. It's not like he went over there and roughed him up and slapped him a couple times. He was just like, yo, I need to talk to you.
The irony is that Michael Jordan used to do this to reporters a lot, but no one cared because it was Michael Jordan. LeBron does it once in a while or once.
I'm
Now is a problem.
I'm still confused because you can see the video footage. It's not like he slaps him. He just he literally just goes up and talks to this man.
And two, Javon, you know what type of media we're in. Everybody try to blow everything out of proportion and make it seem like something that is really not. At the end of the day, the way people have been treating, basically people are saying Bronny James wouldn't be there if it wasn't for his dad.
In case you have not seen the video footage, all it is Stephen A. Smith getting up, getting ready to leave, and LeBron finds him on the court basically, and walks over to him and has like some strong words to tell him. He's not super aggressive. He's not like threatening this man's life. He's just talking to him very sternly. And then with Stephen A's recap of it, he makes it look like LeBron. Well, he acknowledges that it's LeBron coming at him like a father, but he also kind of like really drives it up that LeBron was taking things too far, that LeBron was pushing too hard. Like this could have been a phone call.
Whatever.
This could have been they could have had this conversation out of the public eye. Is how he counters it, and it's like you say wild and crazy stuff all the time. You don't think there's any consequence to what you say?
Whatever. I just think people think they can say whatever they want to say, and these athletes just gonna keep taking it. At some point, they're gonna break. And also, you got to know the history. Bronny James almost died. He has some type of heart condition where he had to have. He almost I think he almost died during practice one day when he was in college.
Okay.
He ended up sitting for a while. He had to have surgery and everything. Some kind of heart thing he had.
Mm-hmm.
So, on top of that, for him to be back and playing as well as he's playing now, to be in a position. First of all, no one. I understand where both sides are coming from.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, let's not act like the only reason they're talking about him is because he's LeBron James' son.
Mm-hmm.
The dude was the last pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody talking about, look at his contract. His contract is guaranteed. But you go look back at every other person picked that same place. A lot of their contracts are guaranteed too. You just didn't hear about it because no one cared until now because who it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm talking about the Stephen A.
I get what you're saying.
It's
all part of it.
I'm asking you, did you think Stephen A's reaction was valid?
I don't care what Stephen A.
I'm not asking you if you care. I'm asking, do you think it was a valid reaction?
I don't
because
know.
he's being lambasted on the internet. That's the only way I know that this is even happening is because it's reached the people who don't really follow sports side as well.
I don't care. You can't. He said what he said. LeBron said what he said, and that's it. Point blank.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen A. is going to be Stephen A. regardless, no matter what happens.
There's a whole conversation, a whole discourse around how Stephen A. went from being like a respected sports analyst to like a cartoon, apparently. He's like really leaned into being more inflammatory than anything else.
A shock jock.
Okay.
Skip Bayless.
I don't. Didn't Skip Bayless get fired? I got more questions.
Pretty much saying the most outlandish things. And Skip Bayless made his whole living off bashing LeBron.
Wasn't there a controversy around Skip Bayless recently? Didn't something go down?
I guess. I don't know. Anywho, that's neither here. But that's the thing. These guys are making their livelihoods off saying that man's name. So at the end of the day, Stephen A. is going to be Stephen A. LeBron's going to be LeBron.
I just think it's
not going to change
funny
anything.
That this is coming off of the heels of the backlash he received for talking about Serena Williams not too long ago also. I just find it really funny that he's genuinely surprised that somebody he's legitimately talking about had words for him. That part is what's confusing
I don't
me.
think he's surprised.
Yeah, he was.
No.
Yes, he was.
I think it's more about the fact that what he said and how he feels about what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think is more about. He's not surprised. I think it's more about what LeBron said to him and how LeBron took it.
No, he's surprised.
I don't think he's surprised.
Because that's what he's been putting on his Twitter. And when the Serena stuff dropped after he said what he said about that, he was again surprised on his Twitter where he was like, I don't know where all this is coming from, guys. Yada, 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 yada.
Yeah, what?
In case you didn't know what he said about Serena, he was saying that her performing with Kendrick at the Super Bowl halftime show was proof that she wasn't over Drake, and if he was her husband, he would have dumped her. What?
No, doesn't that sound like somebody just saying something to get views or clicks?
So
That's all it
dumb
is.
as hell.
At the end of the
Anyway.
day, that's kind of their job, how they make their money. They have to say something to get people to listen or to click on their page.
This is the same guy who went after Will Smith, and he was like, "Y'all need to rally around Chris Rock and not Will Smith." And it was like, what?
Whatever.
What?
At the end of the day,
He was like, "Black people are too forgiving." Excuse me?
at the end of the day, he's gonna say what he's gonna say.
He is crazy. All right, in other news that won't surprise Calvin, there is another viral thing that's going on around concerning a restaurant called Zachary's Daiquiris out of Charleston, South Carolina. Now, prepare yourself,
I
Calvin.
don't care.
I know that you're not ready for this,
No, I
but
don't care.
apparently racism still exists in Charleston, South Carolina. Everybody hold their breath. I know. We're all surprised. We're all like, what? This brand new little daiquiri place. They call it like a frozen beverage restaurant, which is dumb. It's a daiquiri place. It's slushies. It's adult slushies. They put alcohol in the drinks. Anywho, they had a grand opening. They invited all these influencers, and surprise, surprise, they had a problem when a bunch of black people showed up. Influencers they invited to their daiquiri spot. All of a sudden, they had a dress code, and they're like, the bouncer came over to these black people and basically described exactly what these black people were wearing: their boots, the shirts on their backs, the jeans. All of that was not allowed at this daiquiri place for some reason. Did they say it to any of the white people? Absolutely not. But the bouncer ended up booting the black people out of the line before they could even make it into the restaurant. Some of the white people that saw this were shocked. They were shocked and appalled, and they left. So people started leaving reviews on the restaurant on the Google reviews, and the restaurant started deleting these reviews. And then one of the owners of the restaurant, this woman, says that she owns it with her husband who is black. And she's like, how dare they make these insinuations that it's racism when it's a black-owned business? Okay. Then more and more people start coming out about how, like, they get different treatment if they're a black patron of this restaurant than if you're a white patron of this restaurant, and how flimsy and how they don't really follow through with this dress code policy. White people who are apparently going against this dress code policy, they don't get checked, but the black people, of course, do. So it's been making the rounds on the internet. People talking about this, talking about how they're deleting the reviews. The white lady who owns the restaurant decides she's going to be brave and talk about how they're being targeted, basically. And she goes after all these people that she feels are wrongfully accusing, quotation marks, her restaurant allegedly, with all these bad reviews. But instead of going about it like you would think a business owner would go about it, she goes about it like a social influencer would go about it. And she's just like, this girl sucks and she's a drunk. And this guy sucks and he's also a drunk. And they're just liars. And they're the racist ones, actually, because they are going against this black business. So, of course, it's not working well for her. She's had to delete many of her videos. And people are bombing this restaurant in the reviews, going back and forth, back and forth. The kicker for me is a lot of these white women who grew up apparently in Charleston who are confused as to why this is still happening in Charleston. They're like, we're well aware of the history, and we would think that because of the history, this wouldn't repeat itself, let alone be repeated by a black man. Just another day in 2025. What do you think, Calvin? This is your hometown.
I don't care.
Are you surprised that a black-owned business is racist to their black patrons?
No, because that black dude probably has nothing to do with that damn shop in the first place.
That black dude is married to. So the white lady that also owns the shop, she is on, I think it's called Southern Charm. There is a Bravo reality TV show based out of Charleston that basically highlights a lot of the people that consider themselves to be part of the wealthy of that area. And that white lady's from that show.
I don't.
And at the time when she married her husband, it was a big to-do because she was a rich white marrying a rich black. So I'm not surprised that a black man who married a white woman from South Carolina is also a business owner to a racist restaurant.
Stretching out South Carolina as if California ain't racist neither.
Wait, are you saying South Carolina is not racist?
No, I'm saying racism is everywhere.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
The way you stretching out South Carolina, I don't like the way you the way you say
Your
South Carolina.
insinuation is that South Carolina is not racist,
No.
and it is.
No, I'm just saying I don't like the way you insinuated all the racism is in
They
South Carolina.
they had the opportunity to take down the Confederate flag from their capital, and they said no.
My point is, you make it seem like all the racism in South Carolina, all the racism in the South is in South Carolina. That's what you're making it seem like.
What I'm saying
that's
is
my problem.
South Carolina is known for its racism. California is not known for its racism. It has it. It for sure has it. But it's not known for it because they like to pretend it's not there.
So why? But
the thing is, South Carolina doesn't pretend. They don't pretend that it's not there. But you still have people who live there that are like, "Why is this still happening?"
Because
that is hysterical.
Because they don't see it and they don't care, Javon. It doesn't affect them. That being
more to the point, I am not surprised that a black man who married a white woman from the area is also a part of it. I'm not shocked.
I don't care that he married a white woman. That's not the point. He's probably was going to do it regardless of marrying to a white woman. He just doesn't like black people. I just think he was going to do it regardless.
He said, "Black queens never, snow bunnies forever." That's what he said.
I guess. I don't think he. I don't even think he's part of the business. It's probably his wife's business.
No, he's in the business.
He might have helped buy the business. I'm saying, I think the business is hers.
He actually owns like a string of businesses in downtown Charleston. This is like another one to add to his portfolio, essentially. So he he is a part of the business.
Whatever. At the end of the day, no one's going to the daiquiri place. At the end of it.
Actually, yeah. No, people are still going. White people are like, yeah, hell yeah, we love this place.
Okay, then. So then, let them make their money and move on. We just don't. Because at some point, they're going to move on and find something else.
Mm-hmm.
But that being...
So my question to you was, were you surprised that a black-owned business could do this? And
no.
I feel the answer is no.
No. I'm not surprised if any business does this.
Mm-hmm.
It's par for the course. And
in South Carolina.
It's par for the course anywhere. This can happen anywhere. But let's not act like all the racism was pushed to South Carolina. And South Carolina's the only place with racism. Let's just stop the nonsense. That being said,
how is that nonsense?
I've been kicked out of a club a club in Charleston too. Me and my buddy were kicked out. But it was a closed party. But they didn't stop us from letting us in until after we were in. And then they came to us and were like, well, you guys, it's a closed party. You guys can't be here. I'm like, then why'd you let us in to begin with? Well, I'm like, whatever, dude. And I left. But they tried to come into the way we were dressed. I'm like, we're dressed like everybody else in here.
Interesting. So in South Carolina, you faced racism, and I can't say that in South Carolina racism exists. Very interesting.
Javon.
Very interesting.
You made it sound...
Anyway, next topic.
Whatever. You made it sound like racism is only in South Carolina.
All I said was,
that's the difference.
This lady...
Let's just calm down.
...is from there. This restaurant is in there. This guy is from there. The culture is known.
But that's why a lot of people... That's why a lot of black people don't really go downtown Charleston to party.
Actually, apparently, that's starting to change because of all the gentrification.
Nobody hangs downtown.
That's not true anymore.
Nobody goes downtown.
That's not true anymore.
Who? Says whatever.
Says a lot of social media influencers.
Don't nobody go downtown.
Calvin, you haven't lived there in decades.
Why would you go downtown?
How would you know?
And they're not,
because they got to go to a juke joint.
They have a dress code. Motherfuckers don't like to put all that shit on sometimes. So they're not going. They might go around the outskirts of Charleston, but like in North Charleston, but no one's really going downtown to party. Influencers, whatever, but no one's really going downtown to party. The outskirts of North Charleston, you don't even know the difference between Charleston and North Charleston. So they party around the outer limits of Charleston, not really downtown.
I think that you have a lot of rules about what I can and cannot say about this place.
I just say you don't have any rules. You have rules what you can and cannot say. What I'm saying is,
I have you on tape saying I don't know anything.
That's like me talking about wherever the hell you from. I don't know. Are you from oh God, Mira Mesa? That's like me talking about Mira Mesa like I know the place, and you be like, no, that's not true. And me be like, how do you know? I'm from there.
So it's not racist down there?
I never said it wasn't racist. What? I'm not shocked. I don't know why she's shocked. I don't know why anybody's shocked about downtown. It's still very segregated down there, especially in certain areas. As far as
The thing that further confused me is the fact that this conversation took as much. Like a lot of people were interested in this conversation, given the current administration we're under. I found that also very interesting.
I don't. A lot of people trying to.
You hear about the lady who went to a Mexican restaurant, got mad at the people were Mexican?
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
But I don't know. I think.
And then she got fired? Hysterical.
I think what it is people are more emboldened to say things now because of the
precedent that has been set.
The precedent that has been set.
Precedent.
Yeah.
Not president.
And the president has been set. So a lot of people think they can say and do whatever they want.
But that's what I mean. I'm surprised
they think they're Teflon like him, but they're not.
But I'm surprised that the other side is as vocal as they have been.
No, I'm not. In a way,
because the last run that we had like this, where people were like, "I'm standing 10 tones down in this," the people that were speaking up were people like us, were Black people. But with the recent turn of situations, Black people have been like, "We're taking the break. We're resting."
Problem is
now I'm seeing a lot more white people do this talking
because they can't believe it happened again.
It's very interesting.
They didn't think it was going to happen again. So
Very
now, since we're not saying anything, we like, you got to fend for yourself. Now they're talking because they didn't believe it would happen again.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you might not believe that, a lot of people believe that it wouldn't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
So now that it happened again, and now they're expecting everybody, they're like, "No, we got to. This stuff has to stop."
Side note: I've been on conservative Reddit, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be in there. I was bracing myself for the worst, but it's not as bad as I thought it was. You're still gonna have the MAGA people, but there's also like this bigger group of like in betweens that aren't as hard right. It's very interesting.
Sure.
It's quite interesting. I was like, oh, okay. Interesting. Like them checking each other. I was like, oh, was not expecting this, but okay. So, anywho, did I have anything else? That was it. Unless you want to do a verses, but we don't gotta.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
I don't know. You always have something to say with any verses I pick. You always say it's up to me, and then I pick one, and then like you don't like half of them.
And we talk, and I go yay or nay. That's pretty much how that works.
Okay.
And then you get mad because I say I don't like Babyface sucks and he's a demon.
That's what I mean. Like what you're doing right now. Like, is there a point?
Babyface it's just Babyface. That's all I said. It's just Babyface.
Okay.
I didn't know you loved Babyface so much.
Actually, I do.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were so in love with Babyface. I had no idea.
You got me through a lot of tough times.
Whatever. You criticize everything I do. I don't care.
You criticize everything I do.
Sure.
That's why I wasn't sure I wanted to do verses.
I don't pay attention. I don't. Sure. Don't get yourself in any more trouble. Rule number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Just nod and say yes.
Okay. They have a lot of Chris Brown versus Trey songs. I don't know how they have 4 parts. How many songs does Trey songs have?
I don't want to listen to Chris Brown or Trey songs because it's going to be tie because I don't care. I don't really listen to either of their music.
Interesting. They got Top Neptune Productions. I don't want that one. Top Swizz Beats Productions.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of Sade versus Anita Baker.
Move on.
Little Mo versus Ashanti. How many songs does Little Mo got?
Would you just fine? What? I'm just gonna yeah.
You want to do I don't remember which ones we've already done. That's the other part. 93 versus 98.
Sure.
Did we already do this one?
Probably not.
All right.
Got Soul Bases with 93 versus album Art Alive with 98. Let's go.
Yeah, I think we did this one. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. No, we didn't do this one. Here we go, going through the same thing.
This is a song you said you've never heard of.
I never said I didn't hear it. I'm like, I don't.
I have you on tape.
I don't like it. That's all I said. I don't like it. Spirit, no.
Everybody love a star when he on top.
You will bring down your body.
All right.
Yeah, that's your body.
So we don't think we've done it before. We'll find out. Tupac, Keep Your Head Up, 1993. And this is versus
That's just the way it is.
Tupac Changes, 1998.
Keep your head up.
I agree with Keep Your Head Up. Then we've got Ice Cube, It Was a Good Day, 1993. And this is versus DMX, Slippin'. I haven't heard Slippin' in a minute. In a long time.
Today was a good day. Even
I
though
agree.
I prefer DMX Slippin'.
I agree with Today. It was a good day. All right, we got Portrait. Here we go again. Did not know this was a group called Portrait.
Yes.
1993.
Their name is Portrait.
At versus the song Calvin's never heard of. And that is Next Too Close from 1998.
Portrait, here we go.
I agree. And then we've got
Portrait is like a big group that harmonizes.
Diggable Planets, Rebirth of Slick. Cool Like That. That's 93. Didn't realize that was 93. Brand Nubian, Don't Let It Go to Your Head, 98. I kind of like Brand Nubian.
Cool Like That is a bigger song.
It is.
But Don't Let You Go to Your Head was my jam during that time.
Okay.
In 98.
We agree again. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. Then we've got Silk, Freak Me, 1993.
Lick you up and down.
I've never seen the video for this. And then LSG, My Body. Did not know that was LSG.
Yeah, that's Levert, Gill, and Sweat. Key Sweat.
So Levert, Sweat, and Gill. LSG.
Yeah,
Okay.
Levert. Yeah, Sweat and Gill. Yeah.
Okay. I did not know that they sang that song. Very interesting.
How you know?
I never knew who the group was.
Oh, okay. Silk. Let me lick you up and
What
down.
else did Silk sing? Did they do the doo-doo-doo song? Was that that?
No.
If I Ever Fall in Love?
No, that's Shy.
Shy. What else did Silk sing?
Oh my God. A meeting in my bedroom.
I don't remember that.
There's a meeting in my bedroom.
Why did you do that?
So girl, please don't be late.
I'm waiting for a mint condition versus something, but that hasn't happened
Mint
yet.
conditions not going to win like you think they are.
They're not who?
They're not going to win like you think they are.
Why would I think they're going to
According
win?
to the group they're going against. They're not
Shy.
gonna... Oh, they'll win that easy. Shy don't have that much hits.
All right, that was it. That's all the songs. They're not going to win like you think they are. What if it's against Shy? Well, then yeah, they're going to.
You picked a group that doesn't have a one hit, Javon.
Calvin.
You picked a group that has one song. And that's the one song you didn't even know they song.
That's so true. Doesn't Shy have another hit? I think they got two. I think they have two.
No.
I think they have
I don't
two.
know the other one. It's a remix of the same song. It's the remix of the same damn
It's the
song.
original and the remix.
Yeah, that's
That's
pretty much their second hit. The remix of the original song.
Okay, what if it's Tony versus New Edition?
Tony versus
New Edition.
what's your group you just said?
I said
Mint Condition?
No, New Edition.
That's a close one. Because Tony has a lot of hits.
You hear about how
Yeah,
one
let
of
it go
the
some.
founders passed?
Yeah.
One of the Tonys?
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook.
I still don't know how they got the name
His
Tony.
name is not Tony.
Yeah, it's none of their names are Tony.
Yeah.
I also didn't realize that they're all related. They're all like cousins and brothers.
Sure. Yeah. So, but Tone against Mint Condition. Tony.
Not Mint
Win.
Condition, New Edition.
It'd be really good. That'd be a good versus.
Mm-hmm.
The Mid Condition and Tony would be a good versus. I still think
I never
Tone
said
would win
mint condition. I like how you're just gonna keep making it that.
because you said you want to do a Mid Condition one, but you put Mid Condition up against the only group with one song.
How about Portrait?
I think Mid Condition will win that.
What other hit songs did Portrait have?
They had a couple, but they're more known for like jazz and stuff. They're more like a group, like a vocal group.
Okay. Oh, Shy's out of DC. Did not know that.
Okay. Is this the end of That Happened with Joe?
Yes.
And that's the end of That Happened with Joe. Skitty bop ba da bop. That Happened with Joe. No more. You want to move into 90 Days, The Last Resort?
Sure.
You want to start it off? Pretty much we start at the pool with Natalie and Stacy.
You want to start off? Just kidding. I'm going to start off. We're going to start at the pool.
Yeah. I'm
You're
just giving everybody
hilarious.
background scenario.
Background
scenario.
Background context.
So you have Natalie and Stacy hanging at the pool. Then they flash to Gino.
That was Darcy, I thought, in the pool.
No, that was Stacy.
I thought it was Natalie and Darcy in the pool.
Oh, no, it was Stacy.
No, it was Darcy.
No. Sorry. Okay.
Because Stacy was still yelling at Florian.
Okay, so it's Darcy. I'm sorry. Natalie and Darcy in the pool. Then you have Gino in the cafe ordering something. I don't know. Whatever. And then they cut to Rob and Sophie, I guess, doing stretches in the park. Like she said, Florian and Darcy. Stacy arguing with each other, I guess, or just looking at each other.
They're getting ready to go meet with the
They're getting ready
counselor.
To meet with the counselor. And that's where we'll start at. With Darcy, Stacy, Florian, and Darcy.
They do a group counseling session.
A group counselor session.
I did find it interesting that they went with the licensed professional counselor. It is interesting that the verbiage is licensed professional counselor. She's not a psychologist necessarily. And not with the licensed psychologist that they have there. But also the way that this guy kind of presents, it makes me question a lot of things. Anyway, they go and do their group session. I 110% believe that a lot of this is made up, and then I think they're getting mad over the made up story. That's what it feels like when you're watching it. Because all of a sudden, Stacy's like, yeah, Florian ignores me entirely. He's always out with Darcy. I think Darcy's after my man. And it's Florian and Darcy going, whoa. That's disgusting.
And then, she suddenly goes, Darcy, do you want to sleep with my man?
Again, she already brought this up in the previous episode where they were like, where is this coming from? And also, Stacy is acting weird up until, like, this is like the 14th episode? 13th, 14th? Mm-hmm. Stacy and Florian have been normal this entire time. And now all of a sudden she's like, he's cheating on me. And
no, she's like, he's not paying attention to her. And that him and Darcy are spending way too much time hanging out. And Darcy's calling him at all types of time at night. And she just wants Darcy to respect boundaries.
That's what she narrows it down to, but that's not how it starts. It's not how it starts. She goes with like flamboyant stuff first, or inflammatory stuff first, and then boils it down to like she's just not respecting our time as a couple. Which again, confusing, because if you've watched Stacy and Darcy the show, none of this ever happened. Anyway,
I'm still trying to figure out when this happened. This must have happened off air.
So confused.
Deleted scenes or something.
But whatever. But she's having this conversation, and then Florian, who I'm pretty sure they don't tell him that they're doing this for the show. He's just genuinely reacting every single time. He's just like, I feel like I'm in the middle. I've viewed Darcy as my sister. Stacy is my wife. I'm not sure where this is coming from. Whatever she needs, I guess we'll work towards it. Darcy gives Stacy a heartfelt apology, and Stacy doesn't believe her at first. But that changes when they all go to the bar later. Is there any other couple you want to touch on before we go to the bar?
Basically, we go straight to the bar because that's when pretty much mainly everything goes down.
They kind of touch on Julia and Brandon on their way to the bar. Julia and Brandon left things rocky where Brandon kind of blew up at their session, when he found out that Julia was moving forward with having her parents fill out paperwork to come to the States, Brandon is against this. He's hard against Julia bringing her parents to live with them in the States, which is hilarious, given that this is the same man who did not tell Julia that she was moving in with his parents when she first came to the States.
At all.
At all. So that's hysterical. Brandon's whole thing is like her parents are divorced, yet she wants to bring both of them to live with him, and he's uncomfortable with it because he doesn't really know them. And Julia's like, there's a reason you don't know them, because you refuse to travel to meet them. So now they're gonna be here.
Now, in his defense, they're separated. Why do you need both? One should suffice. You don't need both.
No.
So, in that retrospect, I agree with him. You don't need both.
My thing, of course you need both your parents. If you're
No,
close
you
to
don't.
if you're close to both your parents, of course you want both
No,
your
you
parents.
don't. Well, guess what? Hey, mom and dad, I can't bring you both. So one of you got to decide who rock, paper, scissors, which one's coming.
Just because they're divorced doesn't mean that it was malicious.
I don't want two people in my house that at some point they might get at each other next and I'm stuck in the middle.
But the thing is, he doesn't even know that. Like, he doesn't know anything about her parents.
But what I'm saying is I understand now.
My-
I'm not saying he shouldn't allow one of them to come.
My
I'm just
thing
saying
is,
both of them is kind of stretching.
If you're thinking about this logically, if both of her parents can't stand each other, why would they both agree to come at the same time, knowing that they're going to be living with each other? That wouldn't make sense to
Seems
me.
To me,
So
like
it
they
sounds
just
to
want to
me
come to America.
like it's copacetic. Like they get along enough and they want to support Julia. I feel like if they wanted to come to the States, they could have did the travel visas. She's doing it for like a residency. That's the paperwork that she's filling out. It's for them to be residents here.
I think
They could have just did travel visas if they just wanted to be in the States.
do one and then get the other one later.
I disagree. As somebody who loves both of their parents as well, I can understand even if they were divorced that you would want both of them there.
Together. There's a difference. They're together.
But
they're a package.
I feel like in America, the view on divorce is biased towards the negative. Like if they're divorced, they can't stand each other. Why would you invite this conflict? And I don't think that that's necessarily true of every single person that's divorced.
I understand what you're saying, but they're no longer a package.
I also want to add the context that Julia has no one supporting her. She has no one.
So you bring
she's had to live with Brandon and his family for years.
So you bring your mom or you bring your dad. They're no longer a package. For instance, if your mom and dad break up, and then
you're saying I can only have one parent? That
yeah,
doesn't make any sense.
Only one of them coming to live with us, not both.
That doesn't make sense.
They're no longer a package.
That doesn't make sense.
They're no longer together.
That doesn't make sense.
Pick which one you like. Them is your favorite.
That doesn't make
and
sense.
that one comes here. The other one can stay with Tisha. Then
that doesn't make sense. And I also don't think it would have changed anything if she was like, just my mom is coming. Brandon would have had the same reaction. He doesn't want any of her relatives living with them. Period.
Now I agree with you on that. I'm just saying they're not together, so both is a stretch. That's all I'm saying.
I disagree that was what the straw that broke the camel's back.
So basically, your mom and dad better stay together if they both want to move in over here.
Anyway, the point is, Brandon just doesn't want to have it. Julia, I feel, makes a very valid argument that she doesn't have anybody in her corner. She feels alone. She doesn't have support. The only people she knows are Brandon and his family. Like, and on top of all of that, she is not allowed to do a lot on her own independently. Brandon has a problem with that too. So it's like she's stuck between a rock and a hard place. She found an opportunity to find people that can support her and bring them over. They're her family. She wants them close by. Instead of supporting her in that endeavor, Brandon's like, further lies and leaves.
Don't get me wrong, he's a jerk for it. Because it sounds like to me, he doesn't want her to have any backup.
To me, it sounds like he doesn't want to be inconvenienced. He's fine if she's inconvenienced and alone.
Both.
He doesn't want to be inconvenienced.
I think it's both. I think now he's going to have to. He's not going to have the upper hand no more. He just can't be like, my mom and dad said we should do this and this is what we're going to do. And Julie go like, okay. Because she has no backup.
Mm-hmm.
So she's stuck between a rock and a hard place, like you say. Now, with her parents there, she's like, nah. and they both could be like, nah, she's right. This makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
So she can actually have somebody in her corner now, being where there's if Brandon's not in the corner, she doesn't have anybody in her corner.
I'm just confused why Brandon doesn't see this as a win. He wants a wife that wants to have his children and be like sexually available for him whenever he wants. The more comfortable she is, the more likely that's going to be. So why would you react the way that you're reacting?
Because their penis only works when they're in full control.
Speaking of penis, Josh and Natalie also are on this trip. All of a sudden now, Josh is all about Natalie. He's been shit talking her this entire season. And now he's like, yeah, give me some kisses, girl. And she's like, what is happening? What's going on right now? They have a very uncomfortable moment in the car where it looks like Josh is just forcing himself on her and she's just taking it. It's crazy. Josh had his own session with a psychologist where he talks about his struggles with being like a committed relationship with somebody because he feels like there's always a certainty of failure if he goes about it that way. And the psychologist points out that if he wants to succeed, he does have to go through with that. So he's like, okay, well, maybe I'll give Natalie another chance. Unbeknownst to Natalie, she doesn't know any of this is happening. And then Josh is just like on her. And it's like, what's happening? What's going on?
I have no comment because the whole time I was thinking stranger danger.
Natalie goes, Gino, save me. Like, Gino? And she tries to change the subject and it's like, Gino, so where's your wife? What's going on?
Also, the pillow talks, whatever. I don't like how they assumed Natalie was trying to get up on Gino.
I don't think they assumed it. They just were like, where's this coming from? Because she hadn't been doing that.
She was uncomfortable. She wanted the assault to stop. So she did the only thing she could do was put her hands around the nightmare, which is Gino. And it stopped.
It did stop.
So
her plan worked. Success.
Her plan worked. I don't think she was trying to take Gino or nothing or being.
But she's also incredibly unlikable this season. Later, we see her say some weird stuff. So especially somebody who's like, you need to respect your husband. Which she says to them a lot, and then all of a sudden she's doing what she's doing. That's why they were like, what is happening?
I think because she's confused. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to do to get the guy she wants.
No, she does. She just doesn't want to do it.
She doesn't know what to do. Even if she does that, that doesn't mean
I don't know why you and a lot of other guys though also kind of fall into this she doesn't know any better thing.
I'm not saying she doesn't know any better. What I'm saying is she doesn't know what to do.
That's the same thing as she doesn't know any better.
No, she doesn't know what to do to get the guy she wants. She wants Josh. No matter what she do, Josh is like, eh. Now Josh is like, and she's like, I don't know what to do. Because is this because he wants to be with me, or is this how he feels right now?
My argument is that she doesn't want Josh. She wants a body that's going to provide her with sustainability and whatever love she perceives to be the right kind of love. Josh just happens to be the person that said he would try. She doesn't actually want Josh. In my opinion, that's an opinion. That's not a fact. So, but also, she knows exactly what she's doing. So anyway.
Sure.
They all were in these vans because they're headed towards the bar. Gino gets into a very gross conversation about how Jasmine loves to suck his toes and how he needs to get his toes sucked, and how recently, because they haven't been fighting, she's been nice to him. He's been like, okay, maybe if we keep this direction, I might finally give her some.
For another 2 years.
The point is he has this like sexually deviant conversation with everybody in the car, but still shuts Jasmine down. And it's like, what is happening?
Fast forward. Jasmine does like to suck dirty toes.
She says it tastes like cheese, and she doesn't like vegan cheese. She likes real cheese, and apparently Gino toes dirty tastes like real cheese, which means there's a lot of yeast in them. So gross.
This woman is so easy to pick off.
Pick off? What do you mean? Like kill?
No, Jasmine is a guy. It's like a guy trapped in a woman's body.
I think that's a misnomer.
Yeah, she is.
I disagree.
Yeah.
This is just like one
she thinks like
characteristic of Jasmine, but we've seen her in other stuff. She openly admits that she is not emotionally stable.
But
in this one one characteristic of hers that where she wants sex.
But
Even if she gets it, it's not going to stop there.
but I think it's because she's been deprived for so long. It's on overdrive. Anywho, she's disgusting. She sucks dirty toes. The end for me.
Okay. When they are at the bar, Jasmine does have a conversation with Gino where she broaches the topic of having an ethical, open, non-monogamous relationship again. Gino shuts it down pretty quickly. He says that is not something that exists, and she's already cheating. And has she thought about somebody? And she's like, yes, I have. And he goes, well, that's further cheating. We're done. And that's where that ended. So
He said that because in his mind, she's emotionally gone.
he says it in his confessional. Not that she found somebody else physically attractive behind his back. He says that she emotionally connected with somebody behind his back, which I thought was a very interesting thing to
I
say.
don't. But that's. But I get it though. We feel when women cheat, they're gone because they have to have some type of emotional connection with that person to get themselves to that place where they cheat. So I can understand him saying what he said. That being said, that is his fault.
I find it interesting that that's where the perspective you took from this. But my thing is, like, even though men are quote unquote visual, Gino has proven, like, time and time and again, in person, he's not visual. Everything that gets him off that we've heard about is all stuff that's like third party. Like,
But-
they're not directly
But I don't
connected to him.
think it's emotional neither, because he said his first wife, they had good times together. They were nice.
He said they never fought,
They never fought.
which is bizarre because they divorced. So what do you mean?
That's what I'm saying. So don't sound like he was having sex with her neither.
But that might be why they divorced.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's also what
was
I'm
the
saying.
Point. So
I don't think every guy is this cookie cutter cutout of just like physical only. That's what we're sold. That's what we're taught. But I don't think that's necessarily true of every single guy, and I feel like that's especially true with Gino. I feel like he perceives being wanted as like wanting conversation, like not physical touch at all for some reason. He sees it as like meaningful conversation, knowing that this person's going to be around. A roommate with benefits that he never touched. He never
well, at
gives
some
those
point,
benefits.
you have to sleep with your roommate for it to be beneficial.
I don't think he wants to.
Then it's not benefits. It's like
Perceived benefits.
it's like talking to your mom. You pretty much
But I
talking to
think
your
that's
mom.
kind of what he wants. I think he just he's comfortable in like having somebody there and like having the title of husband, but he doesn't want to actually
Then he
do
needs to
any of
get
the other
him
stuff.
Something other than a Latin women.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to get him a female with salt.
What?
Because that's the women he's picking.
Oh, they have adobo spice?
Yeah, the females he's picking are from a culture that is physical
Mm-hmm.
and confrontational. I guess.
You know what he reminds me of? The other guy from 90 Day Fiance. Everybody thinks is gay. What's his name? I know Veronica. Veronica is his bestie.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, him. Tim?
Tim. Yes. He kind of reminds me of Tim.
Timmy.
Tim also has a preference for Latino women, but also doesn't want to do anything with them. So.
But I think Tim thing is more OCD. I take that back. I think Tim thing is more that he wants Veronica, really.
I don't think he does.
But he wants Veronica, but he doesn't.
I think he wants somebody like Veronica, like somebody who's in his corner, but just like, somebody he can say is his wife, and not just his friend.
And I think he's lying to himself. I mainly think he's lying to himself.
I don't think so. Actually, he's changed his look quite a bit. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos online.
I think
he's grown a full beard. He doesn't use the gel as much anymore.
Whatever.
It's very interesting.
I think he's lying to himself. Moving on.
But I'm just saying, like, him and Gino kind of fall in the same like spectrum of like wanting these relationships, but only wanting it in like only receiving them and like just a talking stage only. Like, that's it.
So basically he says no.
Oh no, he says hell no.
And then Jasmine goes off and starts ugly crying.
Yes.
I can save my marriage.
I'm still confused with her logic on this.
I don't know why, Gino.
She's like, he won't be open-minded enough to even look at this. And it's like, that, what? No. Like, that's not, no. No, girl. He's told you several times he's not into this. And you still were like, do it though. No, girl. Just you're gonna take the L, divorce him, and do what you gotta do. Allegedly. Well, kind of confirmed. Jasmine's pregnant with her friend's baby. So there's that.
Whatever. If you didn't think that was the first place you're gonna go to get something's wrong with you people.
But she's only recently, like a few months along recently now. This was filmed over a year ago. So she did take her time.
Javon, they were doing a lot of sex. A lot. They were humping like rabbits and dogs.
What?
Moving on to.
So she was cheating on Gino, you're saying?
No, I don't think she was cheating on Gino. I think as soon as they broke up, she went straight to that dude, though.
Oh.
I wouldn't put it. I have no doubt about that.
Oh.
We quickly touch on Julia. They asked Julia where Brandon is, and
we just covered this. Yeah.
She basically she don't give him space. But on to the big fallout that was Stacey, Darcy.
Did we talk about
Florian.
Sophie and what's his face's conversation?
Rob conversation is basically she need to stay out of the business.
Well, that part happened too. But Rob was talking about how like they have this tenuous, like, peacetime basically right now. They had another session with one of the counselors going over their latest blowout at the campsite, and they kind of like agreed to disagree that they both have stuff to work on essentially. Because like Sophie's talking about how like she found the stuff on Rob's phone. It triggered her because they were all already dealing with like infidelity issues with him before. And Rob is coming at it like nothing he does is correct to Sophie. He can't do anything right for her. So they agree to try to take it like day by day is where they kind of kept it. And then we get into the bar fight that happens. And how dare Sophie make me side with Rob? So yeah.
So then we get to the big blow up that is Stacey, Darcy, and Florian. First,
and surprise guest Georgie.
And it takes a turn.
It feels so fake. It feels so fake. They're at the club. They're also on different coasts. How are they at the same part? Anyway, anywho.
No, so Georgie's probably hanging out at the bar. It's probably earlier. So Darcy gets a call from Georgie. And Georgie tells her something.
No, you can say what it is.
Georgie tells her that the girls that the last time they were out hanging with Florian. So Georgie and Darcy and Florian are all hanging out. All of a sudden that night, Florian decides to leave with two blonde females. Cut to Darcy's at the resort with Stacey and Florian. Georgie calls and tells Darcy that, hey, you remember those two blondes that Florian left with? One just told me to thank Florian for helping her get home. Georgie says, I don't know what happened, but that's all she said. Darcy goes, okay, let me figure out what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell Stacey or whatever. So Darcy comes back over. They were all playing Jenga. And she grabs Stacey. Can I talk to you for a moment? This is after her and Florian already went to the bar and was hanging out, and Stacey already felt some type of way that her and Florian disappeared to the bar together.
So this is after.
This is after.
So Stacey says after they had their session, Darcy and Florian went to the bar. So this is like a couple days later.
So she grabs Stacey, and she tells him, hey, I don't know what's going on, but the last time me, Georgie, and Florian went out, Florian left with these two blondes. She's like, where did he go? She's like, I don't know. We didn't ask. They were like, maybe whatever. He knew them, whatever.
No, she knew that. He said that he was going to drop them off at home.
So We didn't know, so we didn't think none of it. So Georgie's out right now, and the girl comes back to Georgie and tells him thank Florian for getting her home that night. And Stacy loses it. And Darcy, thought I should tell you because, we've been going through this and I don't want no beef and I want you to be like, hell something from you, all this stuff and that. She, you're right, you tell me. So Stacy goes to Florian and be like, you got anything to tell me? You know what I'm saying? Since you're having such a good time.
Florian is also 2 sheets to the wind at this point.
Florian's like,
about to be 3.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He literally has no idea what she's
She's like, remember the 2 blondes that you left with?
He's just looking at her like, what?
Did you leave the club with 2 blondes that time? You, Darcy, and Georgie.
We're out.
He's like,
He goes, huh?
Huh?
And she goes, I know you're lying to me. And then like in her standalone, she's like, I can tell he's lying because he's not giving me direct eye contact. He's looking at her directly. He's just mumbling to himself. He's literally just taking a drink. He can't stay. He's fidgeting. He's literally just standing there. Like, it's very interesting that she is drumming it up like he's this huge liar. And he's like, what are you talking about? But the twist for me was him going, oh, yeah, one of them lives in our building. And I was like, oh, so there were 2 girls. But the other clitcher was, she's like, I know you took those girls home. And he goes, how would I take them home? I don't have a driver's license.
He's like, I don't have license. How would I drive them home? And she's like, you got them home. He's like, what happened was, I was coming to the bar. We was all drunk. I saw this girl.
He was leaving the bar.
I saw this girl.
She was stumbling and staggering.
She trying to get into the building. She couldn't get in the building. I helped her in the building.
Mm-hmm.
I helped her on the elevator. I asked her what floor or whatever. I put her thing. I pressed the button to her floor and I let her go up. That's all that happened.
Yeah.
You liar.
He's like, we live in the same building.
You liar. Oh, so you just with somebody in the same building now? Oh, okay.
But here's my other thing. We have already been told. It's already been established. Florian goes out a lot. He goes out every evening. If you're going to the same places over and over again, you're gonna start recognizing faces like that. That happens. The other thing is they've continuously told us how Florian takes care of everybody. They've continuously told us how Florian makes sure everybody's all right. So would it be out of character for him to see a very drunk girl and make sure she got home safe?
That ain't got nothing to do with you. That's not your vagina. That's not your vagina. I don't care if that vagina splits open in the middle of the highway. That's not your vagina. You keep it going home to your vagina.
You do the same stuff.
No, I do not.
You don't make sure people get home safe?
Those are people I know.
But that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't they be people that he knows?
Also people that you've met before.
Not until recently.
What? Wait a minute. What?
When you were driving Trina home? Like from the metro or whatever? I had never met Trina before then.
Yeah, you had.
No, I hadn't. When you started driving her home from the metro? No, I hadn't.
You met her at the first. Oh, God, I can't remember what party that was. We all hung out that night. And that's when we went downtown. That's neither here or there.
That was before then. Before the downtown stuff. You were already doing stuff like that. But my point is, they are women that you know, though. Like, they're coworkers or people that you've seen around. Like, when you used to go to Fish Market all the time, you start making friends with those people.
I get what you're saying, but I don't think he brought up that girl's name in around that house before. That's my thing. If it's not a name, meaning for her, if he would say, "Oh, that's Deborah," you know how drunk Deborah get. I told you about Deborah, drunk Deborah. I had to help her. She's always at the bar when I'm there. We pretty much hang out now. We know each other, so we always buy each other drinks or whatever. I didn't know she lived in our building. I helped her up, got her on the elevator, got her to her floor, whatever. Boom. That's drunk Deborah. If it was that, and she go, "Oh, okay, drunk Deborah. Okay, you told me about Deborah before." I don't think he said anything about this woman. And 2, he has a past of cheating. So there's that too.
You don't think it's convenient that none of this was brought up until right now?
I'm not saying the story is...
We've gone through the whole season. And
I'm not,
right now?
Once again, I'm not saying that the story ain't true. What I'm saying to you is the scenario of what's happening. I can understand her getting upset. But I also understand what you're saying. You go to a bar, you meet people, you get to use people, yeah. But if that name hasn't been rung around these walls, I'm not going to be... Do I think he did something wrong? Probably not.
I thought he had a valid statement of, I don't got a driver's license. How would I make them get home?
They probably Ubered together. They could have Ubered together.
But you can track Ubers. You can track Ubers if you're really that concerned.
Don't you need the Uber drivers stuff?
No. You just need to have the same account. That's it.
True. I don't know how Uber works. I don't use it really. So
I've got 80 trackers on Calvin right now. I got Apple tags on all his clothes. That's how you got to live your life.
Well, this just went dark and crazy real fast. I brought it on myself.
I got it from Love After Lockup. You got to Apple tag it up. That's what you got to do.
Seems like I brought this conversation on myself. You go to hell, Florian. You know what you're doing. Has nothing to do with me.
I honestly, I mean, like if this was legitimate, if I was Stacy and I had a husband who it feels like he wants to stay away from me more than he wants to stay with me, and then I hear that he's taking girls home, yes, I would be upset. But the whole context of it being, one, he doesn't have a driver's license. Two, she lived in their building. That part further confuses me.
That's hilarious. She's like, I don't even have a driver's license. I'm gonna drive him home. That's so true. How is he gonna drive home without a driver's license?
The other thing is Florian can't lie. That's the other part. It's like he's so blunt.
Let's not go that far.
He's so blunt. So like I'm confused. I also find it interesting that now all of a sudden him cheating is a big deal. We watched how many seasons of Stacey and Darcy and Stacey,
and she got
where
over
she
it.
pretended like it was not a thing. So
exactly.
I'm confused.
You know what? You're so damn right. I forgot all about that. She pretended like it didn't happen.
I'm so confused.
And threw it in Darcy's face every time.
Every chance she got, how happy she was with her man who allegedly is a cheater. So like, I don't, I'm confused.
Well, Georgie was a cheater and Georgie did absolutely nothing.
Also, she's like, Darcy is after Florian. And now all of a sudden she's like, nah, Florian's just a cheater. Which one is it? Confused. Darcy's just not happy in her marriage. What has happened? Which one is it? This is a lot of things.
And that's pretty much 90 Day Last Resort.
Well, Florian and Sophie got into it. And apparently, like, Florian,
Well, yeah.
the first chance Florian gets, he's going to drag her, is what he said.
And then she's like, Rob, you need to defend me. And Rob's like, you shouldn't have been inserted yourself into this.
That setup was, first of all, how dare you, Sophie, make me side with Rob? She was getting mad on Stacey's behalf. Because when Florian comes in or chases after Stacey to talk about everything that's going on, to his credit, he barely got a word out before Sophie was like, and another thing. Like, she was going after him. Like, he did it to her.
In his defense, people around the world, they don't have a
filter?
They don't have personal space parameters like we do in America.
What do you mean?
You know how
this relate to Sophie and
you see how
Florian
was walking up on Stacey. She took offense of also how he was walking up on Stacey.
That's his wife.
But the way he was walking up on her at that time, I think she thought he's kind of threatening, which
he wasn't.
Which overseas they don't have they don't have a sense of space, so they don't have a sense of personal space.
I don't think she was talking about how close he was. She was talking about the words he was using.
Yeah. So, but he was like, let's not act like he wasn't like almost in Stacey's face.
But she was in his face.
He kind of was.
But she also was in his face.
That being said,
let's not pretend that Sophie was coming at this like I need to protect Stacey. She started word vomiting about all kinds of stuff that Florian was not doing. It very much reminded her of Rob. And she was like, I can't do this to Rob, so I'm going to do it to Florian. And she was going in on Florian. And it basically breaks down to Florian just going, Sophie, like over and over and over again. And then he tells Sophie to keep his name out of his mouth. And she goes, Rob, what are you doing? And Rob's like, what? Huh? What? Girl, what?
That's his fault. If he wasn't so horrible to his girl, she wouldn't have been triggered at that point. She'd have kept her mouth shut.
That is fair too.
That's his fault.
That's fair too.
So if you get hit in the back of the head by Florian, that's your fault. You should have maybe be nicer to your girl. She won't get triggered so easy. Because she was triggered. That's why she started talking like that.
She for sure was.
She even says she got triggered.
She does. She acknowledges that. She's like, I definitely was fighting for Stacey. Like I felt like somebody should have fought for me. So yeah, she definitely does acknowledge that. And it was interesting that you said, how come every time Rob talks about Sophie, he's got to like bring her down a peg, like every time? Because she talks about how like she cooks for Rob, and he goes, she doesn't cook. Like immediately, he goes, she doesn't cook.
Yeah, everything is, he got to contradict everything she says.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, that's pretty much all in 90 Day Last Resort. I think there's one more episode left.
How?
I don't know. But I'm here for it because Stacey and Darcy, I'm not going to lie to you, made it more interesting. Darcy added some life to this thing.
Okay.
I just want Georgie to show up and just make it even a Starcy and Daisy
full reunion.
And then we move on to a new season of Darcy and Stacey. That'd be cool. Moving on to 90 Day Fiance. We'll start with Mark and Mina. Mark and Mina.
Who's Mark and Mina?
Mark and Mina is that's the old white guy.
The French lady?
And the French lady.
Okay.
So we start with them in bed, waking up, and they're talking. And pretty much she's telling him how she's semi-happy, but not happy.
Mm-hmm.
Then she calls her son to talk to him for a little bit. And he's like, when am I going to be able to come over? She says, I don't know. And then she's like, I want my son, I'm a bad mom, this and that. Her friend Tracy is watching her son. She's like, that's not his mom. She shouldn't have to be watching him. He should be with me. I should go back. Or maybe I should have waited. And he's like, no, because if you don't, you go back, you can't come back. And we got 90 days. She's like, I want my son. So she goes in the bathroom and cries. So then we go to another couple. We come back to them. She's pretty much in the kitchen cooking lunch for their daughter. She goes to the table to put it down on the table. There's no chair for the baby to sit in. So she puts the baby in a big ass lazy boy sofa that's too far away from the chair. So the baby has to grab the food, climb back on the chair and sit down. So she tries to slide the chair as close as she can to the table so the baby can eat. But she still can't eat properly because the seat's just too big. And it's too far from the table. I guess whatever she's cooking is kind of smoking up the house a little bit till the smoke alarm goes off. Mark comes down the steps like, why is the smoke alarm going off? What's going on? She's like, I'm trying to feed the baby, but there's no high chair for her to sit in. So I can put her food on her and she can sit there and eat it. And we need to get a high chair or something. And he's like, yeah, I'll figure it out. We can go to the grocery store. And she's like, also, we need groceries and stuff like that. He's like, okay, yeah, we can go to the grocery store and get some stuff. Now, you with a woman who's already complaining that she doesn't like living in the middle of nowhere. So you would think he would just take her to a grocery store so she can see some buildings and feel a little bit better about herself. And so he takes her to literally a gas station.
Yeah, he takes her to a convenience store
to go shopping.
In his defense, he said we just need to pick up a couple things and diapers. So I don't think he was expecting to like go somewhere. The other thing is, I wouldn't put it past the producers to be like, hey, just take her where you normally shop, knowing full well it's a gas station.
And she goes, we need a high chair too. So they leave there, the gas station. She's like, here, this is the meat section. She's like, no. She's like, if there's any mushrooms, he's like,
he shows her the meat section. It's just frozen meat and bacon.
It's just a freezer that you see at the gas station.
That you see at like a Dollar Tree.
So she's like, no. They get like maybe 6 things of Pampers.
Mm-hmm.
They leave and they go to a furniture store. I'm like, why don't you just take her to a baby store? He takes her to a furniture store, and it's just adult furniture. There's no
It's
kids
actually
furniture.
refurbished furniture. He took it to a refurbished furniture store.
There's nothing there that he can be able to use for that child to be able to use or whatever. So she goes, "Ooh, Mark, what are we doing? There's nothing. There's nothing here for her. There's no high chairs here or nothing."
I also feel like this was producers. I find it hard to believe that this man was like, yeah, I know where baby chairs are. This place, I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I just find it too convenient that it furthers along the small town storyline that they're already presenting us. For him to be like, yeah, let me do this.
Basically, she doesn't like the small town life, and it's getting on her nerves already. So they're at dinner eating outside. They literally have the baby in the stroller,
They're back at the house, by the way,
strapped in, and they're eating at the table.
in the baby carrier. Yeah.
And the baby is like, "I can't take this shit no more."
Well, the baby is fussy, but I don't know that was because she was in the carrier. I think she was tired, like he said.
So he's like, "Let me just take the baby and take her to sleep." So Mark takes the child, takes her, puts her to bed. They come
Also,
back.
Mina says that the baby has French taste and wouldn't eat the spaghetti they made.
Basically, I think she made it, and she wasn't able to get the stuff she wanted to make it. So that's probably why. She
But
said
also, they do use like fresh ingredients
Yeah.
everywhere else but America.
Yeah.
So.
So they come back, they get in the jacuzzi, and pretty much they start talking about how she wants another child and how how Mark's older daughter doesn't like her. And that pretty much sets her off. That sets her
The
off.
way you explained it is exactly how Mark explained it to me. No context, no fluffy filler. Just she doesn't think it's a good idea and she don't like you. Why are you upset? Where are you going?
So then she's like, you're not sleeping in the bed tonight, and she goes to bed. The end of Mark and Mina.
Mina's point of view, though, to give her credit, is like when she met his daughter, like conversations she has with his daughter, it's always nice. Like it's always pleasant. So she feels like it's a little out of left field all of a sudden that she has such strong negative attitude towards Mina. She's like, where is this coming from? And why doesn't she just tell me herself? And when she tells Mark that she feels like it's kind of snaky for the daughter to be nice to her face, but then speak badly about her behind her back, Mark's like, no, it's not that. She's just concerned about, me being a dad. And she's like, ugh. And she gets overwhelmed. She leaves. But also, like, I don't, Mark, what you doing? You can get local black woman. You don't have to go overseas to get a black woman. You can get a local black woman.
He doesn't want a local black woman.
Actually, he had one. But his daughter also chased that one off too. Because they were like pushing for a prenup. And it was the whole thing.
So the next couple is Truple is Matt, Amina.
We should save them for the last. What's the Iranian guy? And
Greg and Joanne.
Greg.
Pretty much Greg goes and picks up Joanne from the airport. And he pretty much uses
the
a loaf
African
of,
lady.
He puts her name on a loaf of bread instead of a sign for her to come.
Right? Because he's a baker. But you can't read it from far away whatsoever. It's just bread.
And pretty much their thing is her trying to get used to the fact that she's going to be living with his mom and him.
That, and she gave up everything from Uganda to come here.
To a guy
she was a director of a business.
To a guy that has absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
She should have.
And she can't do anything for a hot minute.
She should have ran some tests and did some background check or something.
And he hits her with he's like, welcome home, I'm so glad you're finally here. By the by, we can't share rooms. I know you're nervous to meet my mom, but also she doesn't want you to be in the same room as me. And this poor sleep deprived woman gets upset because she's like, what do you mean? I just gave up all of this stuff for you to tell me that I got to be treated like a stranger in your house. What do you mean? He gets overwhelmed. His mom is like, I don't understand why she has a problem with this. It's going to be very interesting. Is it going to be a repeat of Donna and what's his face? I don't know. The guy from Las Vegas. You know what I'm talking about? Debbie.
Oh, Debbie
and what's his face?
And Corey.
Is it Corey?
No, it's not Corey. I know you're talking about
The other mama's boy. Is it going to be a repeat of
Colt.
this?
Colty.
Colty. Is it going to be a repeat of this? I want to say no. I feel like, what's his name? Greg? I feel like Greg really wants to move forward with Joanne, but he is very limited in what he can do. What's the Iranian couple?
Moving on to Stevie
Uh-huh.
and Mahad.
Mati.
So,
No, I think maybe it's Matt.
whatever. Stevie and Maddie wake up the next morning. Maddie is just enthralled with all the freedoms that he has now, and he can't believe it.
This poor man is going through it, honestly. I think he's going through it. Like, it's really hitting home that he can't go home ever again. It's really hitting hard. And he's seeing just how different it is to be in the States versus back home. And he's in he's in New Orleans.
So she
On top
goes.
of that.
She goes and they go out. She gets him a beignet. He's like, I can't believe this is so good.
He's like,
Freedom is all freedom. Is freedom. Is freedom.
he said freedom is high in calories and tasty. Let me tell you.
Is freedom this tasty everywhere?
But yeah, he says I can feel the freedom. I was like, what do you mean? How bad is it in Iran? This poor man. This poor man. Like, he's excited, but he's also like sad at the same time.
Pretty much guilty that he's enjoying all these freedoms that his family can't. And the fact
Right.
that some of these freedoms can possibly get his family members hurt
Mm-hmm.
back there
Yeah.
too. So it's like
As he walks by a lingerie store. It's just like, oh my God, what?
seeing a real life statue.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just different things. He's just going through a lot of emotions right now.
Yeah.
And Stevie, for the most part right now, is, I guess, saying all the right things.
Like, in her confessionals, she is, saying more of the selfish stuff of like, I don't know why he wants to do this when we have already made the decision. But outside of that, she is saying the right stuff. She's trying to be a good partner and like validate his feelings and be like, I understand this is a big adjustment. I was like, why didn't she just take him to Mississippi where she's from? And then Calvin reminded me that there's nothing. So New Orleans it is. So yeah.
Soper,
But he's still got to make it back to Mississippi. What do you think is going to happen when he gets there?
I think she's gonna find out the real her, and it's not gonna go the way she thinks it's gonna go. But he can't go back, so he's gonna pretty much be stuck.
Okay. Until you Sarper and Shekinah.
On to Cyber and Shekinah.
Why do you like
Shekinah.
saying it like this?
Her name sounds
No one says it like this.
Jamaican.
It's not.
Shekinah.
She's Middle Eastern. She's a former Amish Middle Eastern. Shekinah is a trip. She's a trip.
So we start with Cyper
Sarper.
and his family, and Shekinah all at the pool hanging out. Shekinah starts talking to his cousin, and his cousin's like, so what happens if you guys get into an argument or stuff happens? And he walks out. Where is he going to go?
Yeah.
She's like, well, she can go stay with one of my friends. She's like, you really think one of your friends is going to pin him up on the couch or something, let him stay with him if you guys go through something?
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, yeah, whatever. So now it's the day they get back to Soper's house, and Soper's like, I guess this is the last time in my house or whatever. And she kind of being.
She's being ridiculous. She keeps trying to belittle this man for having emotions around leaving his family. She's like, it shouldn't be this big of a deal. They're trying to villainize me. He's a grown man who's never left his parents. I don't know any grown people who have ever done that. And it's like, girl, your trauma's showing. Calm down. He's close to his folks. He's from Turkey. It's a completely different culture.
I don't think so the problem is she's not used to somebody being so close to their family. Whereas in her case, and even Soper says this,
she didn't have support from her family.
She doesn't have support like I have support from my family. So I can understand why she feels this way. I'm like, he's like, that's not my fault. Her family didn't support her.
I mean, you can understand where she's coming from, but it doesn't excuse her completely dismissing his very valid feelings about missing his family.
So pretty much they get back to to the apartment, and pretty much it continues.
Listen, to be fair to Shekinah, he's like, home sweet home, aren't you gonna miss this place? And she goes, no. And then it's like Sarper going on and on about how he's had thousands of women in that apartment.
Once again, it doesn't matter. He says none of this to her.
No, but he said it before. That's why she made him get rid of that wall of bottles.
It doesn't matter.
So she knows the history of this apartment.
He's having inner thoughts right now.
The other thing is he's not getting rid of this apartment. He's keeping it.
He's leaving, Javon.
He's leaving, but he's keeping that apartment.
He's talking about. He's leaving. And she's just being a dick.
Yeah, she really is, though. She's just going in. It feels like she has her own concerns about bringing him to the States, but rather than acknowledge that for herself, she's projecting it onto Sarper and is like, why don't you do this? And why don't you do that? And what happens? She's like, what, if my daughter decides that she doesn't like you, we can't get married. And Sarper's in the middle of packing and goes, are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? We just said goodbye to my folks. You're telling me that if I go over there with you and your daughter, for whatever reason, says that she doesn't want us to get married, I'm just stuck there? What? Then I'm coming back to Turkey. And she's like, what you should have said was everything will be okay. It's what? Anyway, a trip. His family comes by again to take him to the airport, basically, and say their last goodbyes again. And she's nice to them, but she still is stuck on this whole, like, why is he making it such a big deal? Everybody eventually, starts their own life somewhere. And it's like, girl, you're about to go back to the States to see your sisters. What are you talking about? Anyway.
And we're going to finish off with Matt, Amani, and Ani.
Uh-huh.
This is the
throuple.
The throuple. So Matt and Ani is on their way. Pretty much Ani's playing with the girls. Matten's in the background doing whatever Matt does. Who knows? Being happy for her playing with the girls, I guess.
No, he was packing up their stuff. He was packing up their last minute stuff.
So their friend come over to take care of their daughters, and they are off to Tijuana.
Mm-hmm.
And now we get introduced to Ani. Pretty much, Ani has 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
20-year-old, like 11-year-old, and like a 7-year-old.
Yes. The 7-year-old is the one that lives with her.
Her 7-year-old daughter is the one that's living with her. Pretty much her backstory is she's a scripper. The reason she was a scripper is because
she got pregnant young.
She got pregnant at a young age, and the baby daddy was like, "Bye."
You know that baby daddy.
Arrivederci.
How old do you think that baby daddy was?
12.
No.
1.
40. A 40-year-old man knocked up a 16-year-old and then disappeared.
But he has a whole other family to take care of.
You said he has responsibilities.
He has responsibilities already. Like he knew he was gonna go by that school and see that young sweet.
He was gonna be a responsible parent to one of his kids.
Like he knew by going down that street past that high school, he could see that sweet Hispanic nectar hanging out there. I'm sorry, Hispanic nectar out there, walking from school.
Listen, my heart went out to what's her name, Amina? Ani?
Yeah.
To Ani. Because she talks about how, like, a lot of the women she works with, they have a similar backstory. They got pregnant very young, they didn't have a whole lot of opportunities to choose from. They're in Tijuana, which if you don't know about a lot of the economic situations that are happening that way, unless you're born into money, it's really hard to make a living. So she made a living the best way that she knows how, and that was dancing.
20 years later, Matt and Amina meet her
at the club.
And they fell in love with a scripper.
Well, Amina did. Matt followed suit later, but Amina and Ani made the connection first.
So now they're pretty much coming down there to, I guess, propose and to solidify their
throupledom.
Propose.
Remember, they're going to get divorced. They're going to propose that Ani be their permanent third, like for them to be in a committed, closed relationship. And then Amina and Matt are going to get divorced, and one of them is going to formally marry Ani, because that's the only way they can bring her to the States legally on that K-1 visa. That's also why Amina was a little hesitant about all of this, because they are merging more than just themselves. They're merging their children. They have their 2 girls, plus Amina's 3 kids. Like, how is that going to work? It's dumb. It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't this going to be kind of like, wait a minute, you guys got divorced to marry her? What are you guys trying? What kind of scam you guys trying to run? It's going to come off like a scam.
Yeah.
So,
it's not going to get that far though. It's fine.
Amina is very possessive.
She repeats this a lot.
A lot.
Matt's just happy-go-lucky. He's literally a golden retriever. He's just like, yeah, whatever they need.
So, Amina and Ani comes home and pretty much says hello to her daughter and her
nanny. Her nanny.
She
has a living nanny.
And pretty much tells the daughter, hey, I'm about to go back out to meet so-and-so.
Mm-hmm.
She comes in.
She also asked her daughter how she feels about moving to the States to be with them. And her daughter, who is 7, goes, yeah, that's cool.
So.
That's yours, by the way.
She pretty much gets in a car and going to meet them at the Day of the Dead, I guess, party or something.
It's a festival. Dias de los Muertos festival. Which means this is happening like around November.
So.
They have masks on. I don't know why they're doing the masks. They know what each other looks like, but they are. They're doing the masks.
So, and that's where we leave it at. Them getting ready to meet each other.
I'm waiting for the explosion. They already teased us that they're going to get in a fight in the middle of dinner. So I'm waiting for that.
And that's pretty much 90 Day Fiance.
I like these couples though so far. Even our throuple. I like them.
We also have one more couple we got to get introduced to. We'll get them next week.
You got their names? They're actually from before the 90 days.
Yeah. I can't remember their names. You get it next week.
It's Layla and Aaliyah and Steve
and Doug.
Is it Doug? The white guy and his and the reluctant boyfriend and his girlfriend. The one who is so sad that Aaliyah's dead name persona is gone and he's just stuck with Aaliyah. Okay, so I watched this. It wasn't necessarily a documentary. It was really like a biopic on this other person. She's a trans woman. And she had a similar transition story to Aaliyah in that she met this guy who's like the love of her life before her transition. So he only knew her through her boy personality. And then when she began her transition, he started to slowly but surely like lose interest. Like the more she embraced her womanhood, the more he was like, you're a woman and I'm not attracted to women. And they ended up breaking up. Like they're best friends now. But he was just talking about how like the more his girlfriend or his boyfriend, but his girlfriend at the time, started to embrace more of her womanhood, the less he literally found her attractive because he was only attractive to men. But in Aaliyah's situation, what's his face says that he's bisexual, but he's losing interest in Aaliyah, but still wants to marry her. So I'm very confused and concerned of where this is going to go. Because Aaliyah is sacrificing a lot to follow this man to the States, to potentially be trapped there. Let's see what happens. Did you notice how softer her appearance is now, too?
Yes. Not really.
She's not as muscle defined before her when she was first transitioning.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
That's it for 90 Day Fiance, like I said.
You want to talk about Beauty in the Black?
Sure. We are done with Love After Lockup criminal story.
I'm not done with it. I just didn't care about this latest episode. Like real quick, they did the crime story with Michael and Destiny.
Pretty much Destiny was pretty much a lot of check fraud.
Yeah.
And Michael was drugs.
But also a lot of trauma. So much trauma for both of them. Like poor Destiny was assaulted as a child, had a baby at 13.
Pretty much the same old typical all the females in love with during lockup.
That's really dismissive. But yeah, she had a terrible background. The fact that she had the picture though, that picture was chilling.
And then she pretty much was it her uncle's child?
It was her stepdad's best friend. She called him uncle, but he didn't really have a relation. But he lived on the property and everybody knew what was going on. And no one did anything to stop it.
So her first time pretty much getting caught, the way she got caught was she gave a friend $17,000 for a lawyer. I guess they went, how the hell do you have $17,000 for a lawyer, ma'am?
It was on top of all the spending she'd been doing.
But what got her was the fact that this girl got money for a lawyer. And instead of putting, like, people don't know, you can only put a certain amount of money in the bank before it pops or triggers a SAR.
And say what a SAR is.
A suspicious activity report.
Mm-hmm.
So she gave the girl $17,000. It triggered a SAR. They were like, how the hell you have $17,000?
Mm-hmm.
Then she goes and tells them, well, I got it from Destiny. And that's how pretty much Destiny got hemmed up. So basically what she went to buy a car from a dealership.
Mm-hmm.
$28,000. She put a down payment, $28,000. Bought the brand new car, and as soon as she got out the lot,
that wasn't a down payment. She bought the car outright.
I mean, she bought the car outright. When she got on, she pretty much made a right turn out the lot. She said a police car zoomed by her.
And then another one. And then another one.
Then she's like, she noticed they were boxing her in. She pulls over. They throw her in a car, put the cuffs on. That's when she found out the girl that she gave the $17,000 to get the lawyer set her up. I'm like, no, she didn't set her up. I'm like, you were stupid. Why would you give her $17,000? Normally, how lawyer works, you get the half up front, the rest later. You could have just gave her a certain small amount of money to pay the lawyer.
Yeah.
Every month. You didn't have to give her a $17,000 outright lump sum. That's your fault.
You also could not have been criming. You could have not crimed. That too.
Basically, what she was saying, they were mailboxing. Pretty much, they would go to people's mailbox and just open their mailbox and take their mail. Their mail.
She would look to see if they have bills, anything that had financial payment information, like if they were paying by credit card, if they were paying by check, if they were receiving a check, any of those things, she would take them.
So, and then pretty much she went to jail for pretty much
fraud
and
forgery.
Michael's story is pretty much
was the biggest drug dealer in Rhode Island, y'all.
I keep saying pretty much.
He was lifting heavy marijuana weight.
So Michael was born, and then I guess his mom and dad broke up, and to get away from his dad, his mom moved to St. Croix.
And he moved with them.
He moved with them. He was there until like 13.
But they were very poor in St. Croix.
So, yeah. So one day, I guess he heard that the police was going to do this raid on this guy's house for drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So him and his friend decided to break in the house and steal those drugs. Well, it didn't go well. It didn't go well. The guy found out it was him. So his mom shipped him back to the States to his dad.
In New York.
He got to New York. He pretty much started hanging around kids and pretty much doing the same old drug thing.
Needing money. Things. Yeah.
So his dad was like, you got to get the hell up out of here. And moving to Rhode Island.
His mom had moved back to Rhode Island at that point, and he was like, perfect timing. Michael's moving with you.
So, and pretty much he ends up
doing the same stuff.
And pretty much getting in trouble and popped for drugs. He
got popped the dumbest way.
So he bought this girl and him supposed to meet up to buy drugs.
She was a new client.
She's a new client. She got out the car. He was getting out the car. She got out the car and came to him.
He wasn't getting out the car. They were supposed to drive by each other.
He was supposed to drive, park, and then get in her car.
Mm-hmm.
But when he got out of his car to go to her car, she
was already out and walking to him. Yeah.
Okay, so he got out, walked to her.
That's why he had to pretend to hug her and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
He got there and told her pretty much, hell, you don't know this about woody whoop. She gave him the money. He felt the money hit his pocket. He gave her the drugs. He walked off, went to the car, counted, found out he was $10 short. Instead of like, whatever, he decided he wanted his $10.
Yeah, he was trying to be big, bad.
She came back, threw the $10
out the window
into his car. And that's when, I guess he said there was a police car sitting on the corner.
It landed on the ground. He had to go get it. That was the thing. He had to get out his car and go get it.
He got arrested.
And then he didn't realize there were like a police setup watching the whole thing.
So he got arrested. They told him, let us go to your house and search your house for drugs. He let him go to the house, search the house.
He shouldn't have. They need
warrants.
Shouldn't have.
Exactly. He shouldn't have and made him got warrants. But even his mom said, why'd you bring him here?
But I also understand being scared and being like, okay, how can I make my sentence more lenient?
So he got a lenient sentence. He got out. And then he decided to sell drugs again.
Mm-hmm.
This time he's moving interstate.
Which is a no-no. That makes it a federal felony.
Which makes it a federal felony. Yeah, federal felony.
Mm-hmm.
And then pretty much, you know the story. He got popped. He got caught. He ended up meeting
love of his life.
What's her name?
Manhattan Barbie. No, that's her daughter.
whatever, Michelle,
I don't know.
meeting her, and then the rest is history. And
Not really. You can watch it all.
Mhm.
You can watch every minute.
And then also he tried to become a rapper at the whole time too when this is going on.
I'm confused by the Michael rapping thing because he actually had a legitimate setup for a minute there, and then it just stopped
Because his producer or manager got popped for
killing somebody on his
shooting somebody
property.
in his property.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
So, and that's pretty much Michael's story.
Yeah,
And that's
that was the crime story. I-
Love During Lock Up crime story.
But it was very short. I don't even know what they said for next week. What that's supposed to be.
No, they didn't say.
Well, we were supposed to talk about Beauty and the Black, but we're basically at our
You
limit.
can go just brief summary right quick of the first episode.
Calvin thinks too
Season
much is
2.
happening. I don't know that we're gonna be able to track this show. That's pretty much it.
Pretty much, we find out that the car that got shot up and put on fire was the son.
It's the son's car, Charles. Turns out Calvin was right. Charles was not in that car. The stripper was. The stripper that tried to shake Charles down for more money was in the vehicle.
And we find out because the lawyer the lawyer doesn't love with Charles, goes to his house, and then Charles is just walking
Goes to
in.
his own house. So the lawyer goes back to his home. He's supposed to be changing his suit because he's been losing it, thinking that his boyfriend is dead, and Charles just wanders out. He's still high, by the way.
And we also know now, the family knows that it was the brother that tried to kill him. Norman that tried to kill his nephew. Or killed his nephew.
Yeah.
Because they still don't know that he's alive. Only the lawyer knows.
Yeah.
The boyfriend lawyer knows that he's alive.
Yeah. We also find out that Olivia, Charles's mom, is a original gangster.
Also, the female lead.
Which lead?
Stripper. Girl,
Okay.
is pretty much going around killing everybody now because
What
they
is
have her
name?
sister. Who knows? Killer.
Kimmy.
Kimmy is now a killer because she's going around killing everybody.
Because she's lost it. Okay. The last straw has broke.
If I know anything,
she's piling up bodies right now.
If I know anything, her mom need to get her little young,
old
twin-looking self,
the same age as Kimmy, who apparently is the mother.
Exactly, out of there before Kimmy killed her and that boy.
You know how they're gonna spend this, right?
What?
She's gonna become the new bottom B.
For what's his name?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how they're gonna spend this.
Oh my gosh.
And she's gonna like rationalize it like, okay, well maybe I can mitigate some of the harm until we can get this all closed out. Like get this closed up. That's my we haven't seen the other episodes yet. All the other episodes actually dropped on I wanna say Friday. But I can only get Calvin to watch but so much. So
But you're right. That's pretty much how they're gonna probably spend this. So the new third show we be talking about is what's the name of the show?
Beauty and Black?
Beauty and Black.
You're gonna watch it?
Javon I'm gonna
watch it vicariously.
Yes.
We're gonna treat it like we watched that other show. Oh, what's it called? The other Black excellent show.
Yes. Passions.
Passions, yes. But
you can barely do both of those because I seen somebody watching
the Detroit
it on the bus.
one. What was it?
Oh my god.
Like how we watched that Detroit one where you kind of watched it but not really.
Get B-Day.
No, it's like a club name, something.
But if I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh god, that horrible. I think they're in Atlanta now.
The next season is supposed to be Atlanta. We'll find out.
Also, your favorite show, Hoochie Daddies, is back and they'll be in Atlanta.
I screamed when you sent me that
horrible.
trailer.
That's horrible.
How is the Hoochie Daddy from the second season is back in there? Memphis is back in there. What for? What?
I don't know. Maybe she's helping out. Who knows?
Interesting. Yeah, third Hoochie Daddy season supposed to be coming. It's gonna be a minute though before that's out. They just did their casting. I watched Beyond the Gates, which is another Black soap opera show. I am highly enjoying. It's so all over the place and fantastic.
It's pretty much a spinoff of Passions, you say, right?
And it feels like it. There's a lady who is sleeping with her nephew by marriage. He's not by blood, but still gross. We also have a secret daughter who's trying to exact revenge on behalf of her beleaguered mother, who now it might seem like is not her mom. But anyway,
her mom's
it's
a doll
fantastic.
named Shakita. Her mom's a doll named Shakita.
You got intrigue, you got lies, you got deception, killing, more lies.
There's also another doll named Pookie.
There's nobody named Pookie.
As you know, Passions, the one on channel, I don't know what channel it was, but on regular TV had a doll named Timmy. Timmy the man. Now it's Pookie. Pookie and
There's
Shakita.
no Pookie. There's no Pookie.
The
Calvin's
two
making up
dogs,
things.
Shakita and Pookie, are now trying to wreak havoc
Making up things.
on this.
They
Glory
are trying to
Gates?
sell a storyline though that like the nephew that the aunt is sleeping with is also kind of in love with the white nurse that's also on the show. I don't know where they're going with that.
Yeah, whatever. You are my passions for life. That's
I also made Calvin watch LFG. That's WWE's Legends and Future Greats. What did you think of
Trash.
the one episode? I like it.
trash.
I like seeing the behind the scenes of how physically how they make the sausage, essentially. How they coach these people how to work in the ring, how to react to your audience and how to get them more involved with it. I got introduced to somebody named not Junkyard Dog. What's his face?
Road Dog Jesse James.
Road Dog.
If you're gonna watch
Double
this,
G.
if you're gonna watch this, please get people names right. Try.
He has 4. Road
Try.
Dog Jesse James,
That's easy to remember.
who's supposed to be the best on the mic, and he was dropping a lot of bars when he came out that way.
He's from the era when I was in high school, pretty much.
Was he WCW first or no? He was WWE.
I don't know what he was. All I know is when he came on the scene, he came on with DX, and the rest was history.
This white man talks like a black guy, so it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Well, you don't know. Your ass better call somebody.
Also, if you watch the 2B WWE, like basically they had like a trial reality show where they showed them going to like one of the trials for WWE. You see familiar faces and you see another storyline get repeated. There is like animosity between this guy named BJ and another guy they're calling Cutler James now. His name is really Jonah Nabom. They both went to Duke. They did not like each other at Duke, and they actually got into a physical altercation in their old show. And now they might be face to face again in this new one. I like it.
Cool.
I also made Calvin watch Evolve.
Okay, we get it. I watched all the wrestlings. Jesus Christ.
And he was right about Naomi and Jade. So yeah.
I don't have nothing else.
You don't watch any other shows?
Well, I am trying to get back into TV, but it's hard.
Why?
I channel surf too much.
You don't have a long enough attention span?
Yeah.
Could I get you to read a book?
Of course not.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right. Thank you for listening to We Like That podcast.
So we like that.
Go ahead and click that subscribe button. You know you want to. And rate us 5 stars. I'm Javon.
I'm Calvin.
Later, people.
And we're out.